Is Apple actually out of their minds? Or did they just secretly kill the entire Windows laptop market for under $1,000? Because I have been daily driving the $600 MacBook Neo for a week, and I'll be honest, my expectations were basically in the basement. We're talking about a laptop that literally runs on smartphone leftovers. A recycled A18 Pro chip from last year's iPhone 16 Pro, dumped into an aluminum shell with just 8 gigabytes of unified memory. It sounds like a recipe for a thermal throttling nightmare. And honestly, when I first saw the leaked specs a few months back from Ming-Chi Kuo, I thought it was a joke. I mean, since when does Cupertino willingly give up the Apple tax to sell us a brand new laptop for less than the cost of an iPad Pro? But here's the wild part. It kind of works, and in some ways, it is absolutely terrifying for the competition. Let's break down what is actually happening inside this machine, because there is some heavy supply chain drama that explains exactly how Apple pulled off this price point and what it means for your daily workflows. Mark Gurman reported recently that Apple had a massive surplus of A18 Pro chips because TSMC 3nm yields were actually much better than expected for the iPhone 16 Pro cycle. But wait, really? They just took those chips, harvested the dies by disabling one of the 6 GPU cores, and slapped them onto a motherboard? Yes, that is exactly what they did. And to keep the margins fat, they made some cuts that are, frankly, a little offensive if you are used to the premium Apple ecosystem. First off, you open this beautiful indigo chassis, and the screen looks great. It is a Retina class panel, very similar to what we have seen on base Macs for years. But you look down, and the keyboard has zero backlight. Not a single LED. I have not seen an unlit MacBook keyboard since my old 2010 MacBook Air. Plus, the trackpad lost the Force Touch magic we have had since 2015. It is a cheap, mechanical diving board clicker. And do not even get me started on the ports. You get 2 USB-C ports, but only one is USB 3. The other is locked to USB 2.0 speeds. Are you kidding me? A USB 2.0 port in 2026? Mac Otakara noted that this is a strict limitation of the A18 Pro's I/O controller, which wasn't designed to handle multiple high-speed data streams, like a proper M-series chip. There is absolutely no Thunderbolt, which means no 5K studio display support and no external GPU enclosures. But I want to know what you guys think. Would you trade a backlit keyboard and fast ports to save $400 on a brand new MacBook? Let me know down in the comments, because I am genuinely torn on this. Now let's talk about performance, because this is where the Neo gets super weird. Apple is essentially treating this like a giant, fanless iPhone with a keyboard. Ross Young over at Display Supply Chain Consultants hinted that Apple saved a fortune on the 60Hz LCD panels here, avoiding the mini LED and OLED costs, which kept the thermal envelope very manageable. When you run basic stuff, web browsing, word processing, watching YouTube, the Neo flies. It feels exactly like an M2 MacBook Air in daily driving. Seamless integration with all your iCloud stuff, fast boot times, snappy app launches. You would never know it is running a smartphone brain. But then you push it. I fired up Death Stranding, a AAA game with a solid Mac port. I had to use Metal FX upscaling in performance mode at 1080p, and it was wobbling between 45 and 60 frames per second. That fixed 60Hz display makes those frame drops feel pretty jagged. So I locked it to 30 frames per second, bumped up the input resolution, and suddenly it was a totally playable console-like experience. For a cell phone chip, that is insane. I also tested Resident Evil 4, and again, you are living in 720p territory with AMD FSR1 producing a pretty soft, blurry image. 40 to 60 frames per second, but totally playable. However, do not buy this thinking it is a stealth gaming rig. Cyberpunk 2077? Forget about it. The narrow CPU bottlenecks hard. The frame time spikes are a disaster, and 8 gigabytes of RAM immediately becomes a choke point. DG Times published a report last week showing that Apple specifically chose LPDDR5X for the Neo to maximize memory bandwidth for the limited memory capacity, but you just can't cheat physics. When you try to boot Assassin's Creed Shadows, the game literally crashes before the main menu because it runs out of memory. For professional work, the story is surprisingly optimistic. I threw some 4K optimized media into Final Cut Pro, and playback was incredibly smooth. Final Cut is so optimized for Apple Silicon that the A18 Pro handles it beautifully. Export times are fine, not blazing fast like an M4 Mac Mini, but completely acceptable for casual YouTubers or TikTok creators. But handbrake encoding? That is where the lack of active cooling and the missing CPU cores show their face. It took 3 times as long as a base Mac Mini to crunch a 4K 60 video. Speaking of the competition, I was reading a piece from the ELEC discussing how PC manufacturers are scrambling right now. They've been trying to push ARM-based Windows machines, but none of them can hit this $600 price point with this level of build quality. Apple's economies of scale are just too massive. And let's not forget the battery life. The A18 Pro is so power efficient that slapping it into a chassis with a laptop-sized battery means this thing just refuses to die. I'm easily getting 15 to 16 hours of actual, real-world usage. It makes my M3 Max MacBook Pro look like it has a severe battery drain issue. But there's a catch that nobody is talking about yet, and it involves the long-term durability of that SSD. When you give a machine only 8 gigabytes of RAM, macOS relies heavily on swap memory. That means it constantly writes and rewrites temporary data to the internal storage. Shrimp Apple Pro was right when he leaked that the base storage would be a slower single NAND chip, meaning those swap reads and writes are hitting a bottleneck. If you're doing heavy video editing or running dozens of heavy web apps, you're chewing through the read and write lifespan of that drive much faster than you would on a 16-gigabyte machine. I'm curious, do you guys worry about SSD degradation on these base model Macs? Or is it just blown out of proportion? Drop a comment below. And look, we have to talk about the Apple Intelligence features. Apple is pushing their on-device AI hard, but the A18 Pro's neural engine, while fast for a phone, has to share that tiny pool of unified memory. If you start stacking local AI generation on top of a heavy browser session, you will feel the system start to gasp for air. It's functional, but you can tell the hardware is redlining. So, what is the final verdict here? The MacBook Neo is a masterclass in aggressive compromise. Apple stripped away every single luxury feature we've come to expect. The glowing keys, the haptic trackpad, the blazing fast peripheral speeds, to deliver the core macOS experience at a price that destroys the entry-level market. If you buy this understanding exactly what it is, a supercharged iPad with a keyboard running a desktop OS, you're going to love it. But if you think you are getting a cheap MacBook Pro, you're going to be severely disappointed. I'll believe the Windows competition can match this when I see it, because right now, Cupertino is playing a completely different game.